What's happening, Chooms? Welcome back. Yeah, it's your main man, Mantis from Atlantis. So let's get back into the groove and tell y'all what's the move. Today, and I hope y'all been caught up. I hope y'all already know the story of CLAYCO Choom and how the city of ATL is in the year 2080 and everything else that's going on in this magical land known as the A-Town. Yeah, so let's get back into it, just like this. So, last time, I told y'all a little something about the way I moved, the way I grew, the way things have to be. I started telling y'all about my ladies, and I want to keep that going. Today, we're going to be talking about one of my favorites in the Pantheon. Yeah, you see the MANTIS tattoos on them thick thighs that save lives? Lord have mercy, do they? Man, that's Trina. Trina with a Y. Yeah, the self-proclaimed baddest, you know. She lived for that. Stay in the mall, 5'2" tall, so damn sexy, so damn cute. Sweet as she want to be when she want to act right. But Lord knows, you know, she got the toot if she want to show and act rude. But who could not be hypnotized by those eyes long enough to forget anything she ever did wrong? But my baby, she's all right. She just a little caught up in that glamorous life. When I tell you she's a bill just to be a thrill, it's amazing. But I must say, she make her own bag. She's one of ATL's top, I say top, realtors. This girl selling everything from the commercial to the residential and in between. She's a serious business lady. That's really how we met. I was working on some projects. I wanted to acquire a new space to live in, a couple of new spaces to do business out of, and we worked that out. And after contracts were signed, we worked each other out. Yeah. And from there on, we've been, can't say inseparable in this 2080 reality. Let's just say we make a time when it's time to be a time, and we have a time. And every now and then when I go out of town, she always want to roll with her brother. And I've been putting it off for quite a while. Till recently I told her, I say, look, I got to go out to Cali for some things. I know you love to go shopping. We can turn the city upside down and shake it loose for everything that looks good on that beautiful behind of yours. And Lord knows I love to stroke that gorgeous hair on a beach somewhere. So how about it? She said, say less. She was with the program. But I told her, I said, when I do my main business, I don't really need you with me because I'm going to be in a place called Pacifica out there in Night City. She said, I know about all of that. I said, no, you don't know about all of that. She said, I've been to Night City. Blah, 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 blah. I said, baby, you ain't never been to Dogtown and you sure as hell ain't never been to Pacifica either. She said, true. I don't fuck with that crazy ghetto shit. I said, exactly. So if you rolling with me, I'm going to need you to stay at the spot while I go handle my business. Now, when we were just talking, she was like, cool, but she liked to play wifey. She liked to be all up on you, and she want to know where you at and who you with and everything else, even though she knows the deal of how we all roll. Hell, I know she got other dudes. It's whatever. I better be number one, and in her world, she better not be number one. You know how it go. This type. So I said, look here, if you're going with me, you got to wear the uniform. She said, what uniform? I said, you ain't going to be out there with your little mani and petty showing. Well, maybe the manicure, but the petty, them toes going to have to be in some steel toes, and you're going to have to wear the uniform. She's like, what uniform? All I did was grin. Well, don't she look cute? I swear. Look at her. You talking about somebody mad, pouting and acting crazy? Like, why the hell I gotta wear this? I say, 'cause baby, look where the hell we at. Where we going? So here we are, hard topping it out here on the beach as they do a major cleanup because they trying to get their act together in Pacifica and in Dogtown. New real estate investments, new money from global interest. So naturally, we had to have proper security when we were rolling with our contractor giving us the ins and outs. Look at this giant monster of a cybergenetic beast. Yeah, that brother did make me feel a little confident for a moment until suddenly we heard gunshot. The contractor went down. Another shot. Our security, we took immediate cover behind him, and as he was blasting, I saw the sparks popping off of his uniform through his body. I knew whoever was hitting us had cybergenetic implant. They fried his brain first, and they popped his brain. Down went the giant. My girl was losing her shit. I immediately went into other mode. The other me was present, and he wasn't hearing this shit. I knew I had to take action. It's like everything was going in slow motion. The giant fell, the construction robot stopped, and the only sound we heard was "Aroo!" And I knew it was a fucking animal. One of Pacific's worst gangs. Pacifica's finest at being the grimiest. And they were coming in fast. Motorcycles, I could hear the engines from afar. My eyes went aglow. My girl was losing her absolute mind. I pushed her to the sand and I went into action. To be real with y'all, I don't know what happened next. But she told me she saw my other self. One I had told her about many times and told her I'd never like to show that side of myself. These beasts, completely crunked up on juice, super cybergenetic, hormonal steroid, were blasting top grade arsenal. We talking 50 caliber, 60-70, blasting through semen. I had seconds to make a motion. And she told me it's all that I needed, because within seconds, heads were flying, fools was dying, and blood was going every which way. She said the strangest thing about it was my body kept contorting, kept changing. I was literally becoming a variation of a mantis. She said I had claws that were popping out of not just my arms, but other parts of my body. It was horrific. It was scary. She couldn't take it, seeing her man transform into something this truly menacing. Now, I've always known that my powers have other levels. But the thing is, when I black out, I usually don't know the result until I come back to my human form. She said I took more forms than she could explain, and it gave her nightmares for days. She said the worst part was, at one point, she couldn't tell if I was there at all, if I was even able to hear her screams and know that I would protect not only her, but myself from even killing her. She was petrified. She said it gave her nightmares for months, and in every one of them, it was always the same. The heads would fly when I would defend us, and thereafter, at the blood-splattered junky beach, she would look up and she would see a different form of me each and every time. Sometimes, she said, in true dream form, she would see the heads of other punk-ass motherfuckers she had dated, silly-ass boyfriends, fuckboys that she should have never gave the time of day. She said, I never could understand why I was seeing them. I told her, I said, baby, that's how dreams work. That's just your mind associating monsterism with somebody else that you had a mixed energy soul ties with. It still fucks with your head. She said that one of them, the only one that's still alive that I didn't take out, she sometimes wonders why she don't get calls from the rest of them. Just a matter of time before I catch up to that last bitch. I'm gonna get all them motherfuckers. But in other news, she said that she even saw herself become the mantis creature at one point. And I told her that's our connection, baby. It all just too much for her sweet brain. She thought she was a tough city girl until she had that day. She said it was the worst thing she ever seen. But after all of the smoke cleared, she said the strangest thing happened. She always remembered herself running, and she fell. But when she looked back, the monster was gone. And then she heard heavy breathing. She screamed because she knew when she turned her head back around, it was probably the monster form of me coming to get her. But instead, it was just me, smoking, trembling, sweating, ass butt naked on the beach with these crystal green spikes sticking out of my bald head. And somehow, with my arms raised out to her, begging her, baby, it's me, it's okay. She knew I was back to my normal form. And every time in this nightmare, she says she would come to me slowly and embrace me. And everything was all right. Everything was all right. Mantis is here, baby. You're okay. You're okay. We're okay. Or are we? It was all a dream. Or was it? No, in reality, we really were on that beach. And we really were, within seconds, surrounded by members of the Voodoo Boys. She jolted, I held her closer, kissed her forehead and told her, it's okay, baby. I know him. We're cool. Or cool enough. It was Placide and his group of Voodoo Boys from Pacifica. And one of them had put a cloak around me and gave me some pants, got a brother right. Within seconds of us telling what had happened and Placide assuring us that the animals would pay for their disrespect, we saw an aircraft start landing. It was Brigitte, the former boss lady of the Voodoo Boys, and she was now giving all of her interest to the Dogtown faction of the Voodoo Boys. So the sets were at odds, big odds, because money was on the table. And unfortunately, Pacifica's boys and girls were totally still about all the old ways, trying to keep it street, trying to keep it gangster, trying to keep it real gully and scammy on the web. Whereas Brigitte saw a bigger picture, a more international picture, a more financially secure and refined picture. You see, new development was the reason we were there, as I said, to see the clearance of all of the junk on the beaches, to see the rebuilding of everything that had been lost after the corporate war. The cranes would start moving again. The buildings would start being built again. The streets would be just safe enough as some of the best parts of Night City to where, yeah, the gangs will still rule. They'll still run the streets, but they'll do it with a certain level of expected procedure and always giving back to the ultimate levels of corporate interest. Because at the end of the day, I've told you a million times, that's the real gang. And if you don't respect that, you will eventually lose. And all of this same conflict was the same reason that the animals had attacked us. Everybody just trying to keep everything remained the same. Bang, 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 slang, 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 body, 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 and not a damn thing ever elevated. Well, Brigitte got tired of being a low-level scum boss. She decided she wanted to be the boss. So she joined the development of what would be known as Basilica in Dogtown and Magnifica in Pacifica. These two new developments would give back the original plans of both these territories and elevate them to all new strongholds within the Night City economic infrastructure. So of course a boss like me out of ATL with the kind of money we roll was quite interested in being a part of this bright future. So, in protecting her one of many top silent investors for this project that she was involved in with Night City government, she took us back to a facility in Dogtown that was being renovated out of a slum building that with the inside you would never know it was what it is on the outside. But that's pretty true of most facilities in Dogtown. Oh yeah, Dogtown's got plenty of high tech, top-notch high tech. But for years, the front has been to keep everything looking slum outside, but gorgeous inside. Well, that was about to change. And so we were taken to this hideaway so that she could do some tests and be sure that I was stable after my episode on the beach. Now, I had plans of coming to see my girl anyway, but due to the circumstances of the beach episode, boss lady Brigitte herself made sure I got there safe. Inside the lab, they hooked me up to their top computers, ran some diagnostics. Of course, my baby, still in shock, was holding me tighter than ever, wondering when would all this nightmare be over. Trina was not feeling any of these environments. And Brigitte found that a reason to start picking at her being the city girl who's not used to getting her nails chipped. So while one of the tests was being ran, she had the audacity to say, the only thing that can help him keep from having future episodes is to make sure he's getting plenty of loving. And she had the audacity to say it in Creole, thinking my girl didn't know what she said. But my girl speaks about 5 different languages and dialects, so she cussed her out in Creole, to which Brigitte found quite amusing, didn't even flinch, said some other smart shit, and my eyes started glowing. That got my heart rate booming. And one of her assistants said, "Abort all this bullshit. Stop talking to him like that. We've got to get him on ice immediately. He's about to blow." So the little cat fight ended. Both of them were bedside, tub side, as I was completely under 30-degree ice and went under so that they could do a surveillance of my mental. Once in, Brigitte explained to me some things I already knew about my past and took me back to something I didn't want to see. And I asked her, "Why are you showing me this?" I could hear a voice in my mind saying,
"Do you remember this time? Your team? Your leadership in that team?
We have to go back. We have to Sankofa, go back and fetch it. You were the ultimate warrior, one of the top with Militech." I said, "Tell me something I don't know." She said, "You have to remember the suit."
I know, but for this procedure to work, you need to have a moment of Sankofa. You need to go back and fetch it. You cannot remember many details, if any at all, about your life. It is not your fault they wiped your mind on purpose. They only wanted your time as a soldier to seem like the entire purpose of your existence. Those demons at Militech did a number on you and your platoon.
Repeat, she told me. They put alien software into me, mixed with actual DNA of Mantis, various species, organism, in my bloodstream to this day, mixed with alien high-tech knowledge, altering me into the ultimate killing machine, capable of unexpected, mutated algorithms to manifest in physical, lethal weaponry popping out of my body. I could assume a human form, but the only thing truly left human about me would be my mind, and even it was always altered, equipped with the ability to turn my skin into various alloys of metal, impenetrable by most weaponry known to man, tatted with levels of incredible, superior technological warfare power. My arms could morph into claws, spiked just like a real mantis, in a moment's notion. All I needed was to get angry enough, agitated enough, pissed off enough with this crazy-ass world to go completely cyber psycho, and then relax back into a normal, composed way within seconds. But with every day and everything I have encountered from the time of warfare to now has made it harder and harder to stay grounded. Where am I? And there I was, back in Atlanta, in a whole nother icy bath. This time with the Hoodoo family, my other connection to understanding myself. And I was with T-Baby. one of the queen's daughters of the mist. Some of their top edge runners capable of mixing hoodoo mysticism with cyber matrix technology. And she told me that I had come to her to keep understanding what had happened to my body since my trip to Night City. I held her. I said, I don't think it's gone. She said, it's okay. Let loose if you have to. I can control you. You won't hurt me. What do you mean? Ah! And they let loose all over her lab. Zillions of cyber mantis. Until I was finally calm again. She told me it took all of 20 minutes of one of the worst displays of out-of-body experience she had even ever witnessed. She placed her healing hands on me and rubbed me. She said my tattoo was ones that I don't show anymore because they're all in me but can be projected, and a thought appeared on the surface of my skin telling my story with the monsters that lurk within. She told me that as she rubbed me, my spikes even went away on my head and my crown was bare for her to kiss. And then they would pop out again as a natural defense to anything trying to subdue them. She had her ways of keeping me in a state of tranquility. She showed me new breathing techniques I did not know. And as she touched me, something I'd always known came to the surface, even more than the tattoos. T-Baby had always had a crush on me, but I wanted to keep it business when I made my visits to the hoodoos. I didn't want my doctor to become another lover, but she wanted what she wanted, and she kissed me. Damn, those lips were so fucking soft. Then she put her breast on my chest. Oh, shit. Everything about her. Whew. It made the tattoos glow. It made my soul move. In addition to other parts of me. And before I knew it, we were intertwined. She had wrapped me up in her web, and I was happily whatever she needed me to be in that moment. It was bliss. I forgot the pain. I forgot the anger. I forgot all the notions of killing. The wonders of lovemaking. The sisters would tell me later that T-Baby had told them all of our moment, and in analyzing it, all of them wanted me after that. No, I ain't bragging, y'all. I'm saying you gotta understand the order of this. It's not just about the sex. It's about keeping me grounded. And it's about so many wanting to have a connection to a living nuclear bomb. See, that's what me and everyone on my team from Militech were. We are each housing immense power, unchecked, unregulated, unknown to the scientists even who put this in us. And the fantasy becomes, well, is the big bad monster on my side of the chessboard or yours? So, through skin and fluids and computer love, bonds are made that create protection in a society where he or she who holds the strongest technology will likely win the war. I was blessed by the entire family of Hoodoo, given instructions on new ways I could keep myself balanced daily. And with my prescription for weekly love and more, I was sent on my way. And as I left, walking back onto the city streets outside of their unassuming base of operations, the beautiful side corner bookstore, she blew me a kiss. And I looked up into the blue skies and thought, it's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be... What the fuck? No. No, what is... When I awakened, I yelled so loud. I woke up in a pool of sweat in my bedroom in one of my penthouse suite apartments. And I immediately felt a slight bit of comfort, even though I was still having a migraine. It was my other baby, my sweet, sweet Romania. Yes, she held me. She kept me. Her cybergenetic implants glowed with her beautiful energy of love surrounding me, and she chanted until I realized I was home, I was safe, everything was okay. And I awakened. But what part was a dream? And which parts were my reality? She made me a beautiful breakfast. We sat. And she reminded me that I have reasons to smile. Everything was good again. At least for a moment. Until my cybergenetics went off. Senses tingling. I told her to stay there. Don't move. Someone's coming to the door. When I got to the door, I saw that two men were coming up on the elevator and were in the hallway. Agents from the city of Atlanta. City of ATL, Faleafa, and Kumar. Agents of the mayor. My other friend. Now why the hell would she send these two idiots to my door? And then I thought, she wouldn't. They'd do that out of their ego. And sure as shit, I would later find out that the two of them had argued on the way up. I don't think this is a good idea. This guy's dangerous. I don't give a fuck who he is. We're going in. We're gonna give him this message from the mayor direct. And he should have listened to his friend. I opened the doors. I gave them a light show. I hit their cybergenetics so fucking hard. Migraine doesn't begin to describe the feelings they were having. Smoke spitting from both of their mouths, eyes aflame with electrical, throats squeezed as if being choked within their own bodies. Seizures. And oh, my favorite part. I said, fellas, do you feel that little queasy tip of shit about to spit out of your ass? Should I let it run down your legs? Or should I just cut your fucking heads off? What the hell are you doing at my place of residence? You don't come to my door. I don't give a fuck who sent you with a message. If you want to speak to me, you see me on my office hours. You try until you find me at one of my many business locations. Do I make myself clear? They tried their best to answer, but they just couldn't. They kept spitting flames. So I dragged both of their bitch asses onto the elevator. And I went back down to the lobby. And as we went, I explained to them, I already got your fucking message. I've already pulled all of the data out of your brains. And I know that the mayor wants me at the mayor's ball. But there's a better way to send a formal invitation. And as I threw them onto the floor of the lobby, I told the robot security guard, if anyone else ever hacks you and gets past you and ends up at my door, I'm going to rearrange your parts because your robot ass obviously ain't doing the job you were made for. My name is Mantis from Atlantis. Don't bring bullshit to my door. Do you fucking understand me? As they both were collapsing on the floor, the robot nodded, begging constantly for a pardon. So I slapped the shit out of him and knocked his goddamn head off. Called the front office and told them, the next time a motherfucker comes to my door, I'm gonna buy the whole fucking building and spend the rest of the year in court with you. I think they all understood. Don't play with that man. He needs his peace.